The wind on Helion 7 didn't howl like earth storms. It hummed, a low-frequency vibration that made Maya's teeth ache even through her thermal suit. She'd been checking the atmospheric sensors when her scanner picked up the crash signature, 3 kilometers west of her research station, metal and heat and something else her equipment couldn't identify. She shouldn't have gone alone. Protocol demanded she report it first, wait for the company response team. But Maya had spent 11 months on this ice moon without seeing another living soul, and curiosity had become her only companion. The wreckage was smaller than she expected, a sleek vessel half buried in crystalline snow that glowed faintly blue in Helion's dim light. The hull was still warm, melting a perfect circle around itself. Maya approached carefully, her breath fogging inside her helmet. That's when she saw him. He was sprawled against a snowbank, one arm bent at an unnatural angle, his flight suit torn across the shoulder. But it wasn't the injuries that made Maya stop cold. It was his skin. Where the suit had ripped away, she could see patterns like living circuitry, silver-blue lines that pulsed with a rhythm that matched her own heartbeat. "Don't," he said, his voice rough but clear through her suit's audio pickup. His eyes opened, and they were the color of deep water reflecting starlight. "Please don't come closer." Maya knelt anyway, her medic training overriding caution. "You're hurt. I can help." "You don't understand." He tried to sit up, gasped, fell back. The patterns on his skin flared brighter. "Your species, humans, you carry something in your bioelectric field. It triggers responses in mine." "Responses?" Maya pulled out her medical scanner, running it over his injuries. "Fractured radius, contused ribs, possible internal bleeding." "What kind of responses?" He was silent for a moment, breathing hard. When he spoke again, his voice was quieter. "The kind that make me vulnerable. The kind my people have forbidden for 3 generations." Maya looked at him properly then, really looked. He was humanoid but clearly not human, taller, leaner, with those impossible patterns moving beneath his skin like rivers of light. "I'm Maya," she said softly. "And I'm going to help you whether you like it or not. What's your name?" "Cirrus." He watched her approach with something between fear and resignation. "I'm Verani. And if you touch me, if you make contact with my bare skin, my neural system will try to synchronize with yours." "Will it hurt you?" "No." He closed his eyes. "That's not the danger. The danger is that it will feel right. That my body will recognize you as compatible. That I won't want you to stop." Maya hesitated, her gloved hand hovering over his shoulder. "Cirrus, you're bleeding out. I need to move you to my station. I need to touch you. Then do it quickly." His jaw clenched. "And whatever happens, whatever I say or do, ignore it. It's just biology. It doesn't mean anything." She slipped her arms under his shoulders and knees, lifting carefully. The moment she made contact, even through her suit, Cirrus made a sound that wasn't quite pain and wasn't quite anything she could name. The patterns on his skin exploded into light, racing along invisible pathways, and his whole body went rigid. "Stop," he whispered, but he didn't pull away. "You're making it worse." "Worse how?" Maya adjusted her grip, starting the long walk back to the station. "I can feel you." His head dropped against her shoulder. "Your pulse, your body temperature, the electrical activity in your nervous system. It's like you're inside my skin." Maya's heart beat faster, and she felt him shiver in response. "You can feel that?" "My heartbeat?" "Yes." The word came out broken. "And you shouldn't have helped me, Maya. Because now that my neural system has mapped you, it won't let you go." The station appeared ahead, a small dome of warmth against the endless ice. Maya carried him through the airlock, set him down gently on her medical bay cot. When she finally pulled back, Cirrus grabbed her wrist, his fingers hot even through her glove. "The slavers," he said urgently. "They're tracking me. They want what my species can do, this bonding ability. They'll come for me, and when they find you've touched me, they'll take you too." Then we'd better make sure you can walk by the time they get here, Maya said, already reaching for her medical kit. His grip tightened. You're not afraid. Should I be? Cirrus looked at her with those impossible eyes, and for the first time, he smiled. Sad and genuine and tinged with something Maya couldn't name. Yes, he said. You should be terrified. Because I'm already bonding to you, and I don't think I can stop it. Outside, the storm began to rise. The storm hit HFY 7 like a living thing, ice crystals screaming against the station's dome with enough force to make the walls shudder. Maya worked quickly, cleaning the wounds on Cirrus's shoulder while he sat perfectly still, breathing through clenched teeth. The fracture needs setting, she said, examining his arm. This is going to hurt. It already hurts. Cirrus watched her hands move over his skin, and the crystalline patterns pulsed brighter with each pass. But not the way you think. Maya paused. What does it feel like? This bonding thing? He was quiet for a long moment, then said, imagine every nerve ending in your body suddenly becoming aware of one specific person. Their warmth, their proximity, the rhythm of their breathing. Now imagine your body deciding that person is essential to your survival. That sounds terrifying. It is. Cirrus's voice dropped. My people used to bond freely, centuries ago. But then other species learned to exploit it. Slavers would capture Verani, force bonds with humans or other compatible species, then use that connection to control us. We feel what our bonded feels. Pain, pleasure, fear, everything. Maya's hands stilled. So if someone hurt me, I would feel it as if it were happening to me. He looked away. That's why Verani avoid humans now. Your species has the strongest compatibility with ours. One touch can trigger the cascade, and once it starts, there's no stopping it. But you're stopping it now, Maya said gently. You're sitting here, letting me help you. No, Cirrus met her eyes again, and she saw the strain there. I'm not stopping it. I'm just pretending I have control while my entire neural system rewrites itself around you. Before Maya could respond, her proximity alarm shrieked. She pulled up the security feed and felt her stomach drop. 3 ships, sleek and dark, settling onto the ice half a kilometer away. They found me faster than I thought, Cirrus said, already trying to stand. His injured leg buckled, and Maya caught him, her hands sliding along his spine to support his weight. Cirrus gasped, a sharp involuntary sound, and his whole body arched against her. The patterns on his skin flared so bright they lit up the entire medical bay. Maya, don't touch there, he managed, voice breaking. That's a primary neural node. She pulled back immediately, but the damage was done. Cirrus was trembling, his breathing ragged, and when he looked at her his pupils were dilated so wide his eyes looked black. We need to move, Maya said, forcing herself to focus. There's an old research lab, abandoned, about 2 kilometers north. Underground. They might not detect it. I can't walk. Cirrus's admission came out frustrated and ashamed. Then I'll carry you again. If you do, if you touch me like that again, I won't be able to hide what's happening. He grabbed the edge of the medical cot, knuckles white. You'll feel it too. The bond works both ways once it's strong enough. Maya looked at the security feed. The ships had deployed personnel, figures moving across the ice with the efficiency of professional hunters. Cirrus, I don't care what I feel. We're not staying here to find out what they want with you. She helped him into her thermal suit, trying to avoid the glowing patterns that now covered most of his exposed skin. Every accidental touch made him flinch, made his breath catch, made the light under his skin pulse faster. They made it to the abandoned lab through maintenance tunnels that predated Maya's station, narrow passages carved through ice and rock. She half-carried Cirrus the entire way, feeling him shake against her, hearing him whisper apologies she didn't understand. The lab was exactly as she remembered it, sterile and cold, filled with equipment from some long-dead research project. Maya lowered Cirrus onto an examination table and finally let herself breathe. How do you feel? She asked. Cirrus laughed, a broken sound. I feel like every cell in my body is screaming your name. I feel like if you walked away right now, my neural system would shut down from the separation. I feel, he stopped, pressed his hands over his face. I feel like I'm losing a battle I never wanted to fight. Maya sat beside him, careful not to touch. What happens if you stop fighting? Then the bond completes, Cirrus lowered his hands slowly. And we become connected in ways your species doesn't have words for. I would know when you're in danger before you do. You would feel my emotions as echoes in your own mind. We would be bound, Maya. Permanently. And you don't want that. I don't want to trap you in something you didn't choose, his voice was raw. I don't want you bound to someone you met 5 hours ago because his biology decided you were compatible. Maya was quiet, thinking. Outside, she could hear the faint vibration of search equipment, the hunters getting closer. What if I wanted to choose it, she said finally. Cirrus's head snapped up. What? You said I didn't choose this. But I'm choosing to help you. I'm choosing to sit here instead of running. Maybe that counts for something. Maya. I've been alone on this moon for 11 months, Cirrus. I volunteered for it because I was running from something too. From people who expected things from me I couldn't give. From a life that felt like it belonged to someone else, she looked at him steadily. You're the first person in almost a year who's made me feel like maybe I'm not meant to be alone forever. Cirrus stared at her, the patterns on his skin pulsing in rhythm with both their heartbeats now, synchronized. If we do this, he whispered, if we let the bond complete, there's no going back. My people will exile me. Your people will think you're insane. And those hunters out there will never stop looking for us. Then we'd better make sure they don't find us, Maya said, and reached for his hand. The moment their skin made contact, the world turned to light. The sensation was unlike anything Maya had ever experienced, not painful but overwhelming, like standing at the edge of an ocean and feeling the tide pull at her feet, inviting her deeper. Through the connection of their joined hands, she felt Cirrus's presence bloom in her mind, not thoughts exactly, but impressions, emotions, the sharp edge of his fear tangled with something warmer, something that felt like hope mixed with surrender. Maya, her name and his voice sounded different now, layered with meaning she could sense rather than hear. You need to understand what you're accepting. Once this completes, you'll carry part of me always. In crowds, you'll feel my unease. When I'm hurt, you'll ache. He stopped, swallowed hard. When I feel strongly about you, you'll know. There will be no hiding, no pretending, no privacy of emotion. She tightened her grip on his hand. Show me. Let me feel what you're feeling right now. Cirrus closed his eyes, and suddenly Maya understood. She felt his fear, yes, but underneath it was wonder, the strange beauty of finding someone who didn't run when his biology revealed itself. She felt his guilt for dragging her into danger, and beneath that, something deeper, a pull toward her that his entire being had decided was right even though his mind knew it was complicated. I feel it, she whispered. You're terrified, but you also feel like you've been searching for this without knowing it. Yes, the word came out broken. My whole life, I've been taught that this kind of connection was weakness, that it made Verani vulnerable to exploitation. But right now, feeling you respond to me, it doesn't feel like weakness. It feels like the first honest thing my body has ever done. The vibration of search equipment grew louder, closer. Maya pulled up the lab's ancient security system and saw the hunters spreading out in a search pattern, thermal scanners sweeping the area. They had maybe 10 minutes before the search reached the lab's hidden entrance. Cirrus, if we complete this bond, will it give us any advantage? He looked at her sharply. What do you mean? You said we'd be connected, that you'd know when I'm in danger. Does it work both ways? Could we coordinate, move together, think together? Understanding dawned in his eyes. Yes. Bonded Verani can fight as one, move with perfect synchronization. It's part of why slavers want us, soldiers who move like they share one mind are nearly impossible to fight." He paused. "But Maya, the cost." "I know the cost," she stood, pulling him up with her. "I'm choosing it anyway. I'm choosing you, even if it's insane, even if we only met today. I spent 11 months convinced I was better off alone, and 5 hours with you has made me remember what it feels like to want to stay." Sirius's free hand came up to cup her face, his touch gentle despite the tremor in his fingers. "If we do this, I need you to know, I won't regret it. Even if my people exile me, even if we spend our lives running, I won't regret choosing you." "Then stop fighting it," Maya said softly. "Let the bond finish." She saw the moment he surrendered, the exact second when he stopped holding back. The patterns on his skin blazed bright enough to illuminate the entire lab, and he pulled her closer, his other hand sliding up her spine to rest at the base of her neck, fingers spreading over the neural pathways he could somehow sense. The world exploded into color and sensation and connection. Maya felt Sirius everywhere, in her blood, in her bones, in the firing of every synapse. She knew without being told that his ribs ached, that his broken arm throbbed, that his heart was racing with a mixture of fear and exhilaration that matched her own. And underneath it all, she felt his absolute certainty that this was right, that she was right, that whatever came next they would face it together. When the sensation finally settled, Maya found herself pressed against Sirius's chest, his arms wrapped around her, both of them breathing hard. "I can feel you," she whispered. "Your pain, your relief, everything. And I feel you," Sirius said against her hair. "Your determination, your courage," and he pulled back slightly to look at her. "You're not afraid anymore." "No," Maya smiled. "Because you're not afraid, and I can feel it. You're ready to fight." The lab's entrance alarm shrieked. The hunters had found them. Sirius and Maya moved without speaking, their new bond allowing them to coordinate perfectly. She grabbed her plasma cutter from her tool belt while he positioned himself by the door despite his injuries. Through their connection, Maya knew exactly when he would move, and he knew exactly where she would aim. The first hunter through the door went down before he could raise his weapon, Maya's plasma cutter burning through his scanner array. The second stumbled over the first, and Sirius was there, his good arm striking with precision that Maya could somehow anticipate and support, shifting her weight to counterbalance his movement. "They're bonded," one of the hunters shouted into his comm, "the Varani has bonded with the human. Command needs to know." Maya didn't let him finish. She and Sirius moved as one fluid motion, her covering his blind spots, him protecting her vulnerable angles, their shared awareness making them impossibly difficult to target. But there were too many. Even bonded, even fighting perfectly synchronized, they were outnumbered and Sirius was injured. Maya felt his strength flagging through their connection, felt the pain in his ribs spike with each movement. "The maintenance tunnels," she said aloud, knowing he was already thinking the same thing. They ran together, Maya supporting Sirius's weight without needing to be asked, their feet finding the same rhythm instinctively. They emerged onto the ice just as Maya's emergency beacon, activated 11 months ago and updated weekly, finally received a response. A corporate security ship was descending through Helion 7's atmosphere, drawn by the unusual activity her sensors had been reporting. "They'll want to separate us," Sirius said, watching the ship approach. "Study the bond, understand how it works." "Let them try," Maya laced her fingers through his, feeling the pulse of their connection steady and strong. "I didn't choose this just to give up on it." The security ship landed, and the captain emerged, taking in the scene with professional efficiency. "Dr. Reeves, are you in danger from this individual?" "No," Maya said firmly. "I'm in danger from the people hunting him. We're leaving together." "Dr. Reeves, that's not protocol." "I don't care about protocol anymore." She looked at Sirius, saw her own determination reflected in his eyes, felt his gratitude and fierce protectiveness flowing through their bond. "For 11 months I followed protocol, did everything right, stayed safe and alone. This is me choosing different." The captain studied them both, perhaps seeing something in how they stood together, how they moved in unconscious synchronization. Finally, she nodded. "Get on board. We'll sort out the paperwork later." As they lifted off HFY 7, leaving the ice moon and the hunters and Maya's careful solitude behind, Cirrus wrapped his arm around her shoulders. Through their bond, she felt what he couldn't say aloud yet, the words too new and too enormous. But she felt them anyway, clear as speech, warm as touch. "I feel it too," Maya whispered, and felt his relief bloom through their connection like light. Below them, HFY 7 grew smaller, and ahead stretched an uncertain future. But for the first time in longer than she could remember, Maya wasn't afraid of what came next. Because she wouldn't face it alone, and neither would he, and somehow that made all the difference. The bond hummed between them, steady and sure, a promise neither had asked for but both had chosen. And that, Maya thought, was perhaps the most honest thing either of them had ever done.